It's 7:15. And let's return now to that developing story in Israel where Hamas gunmen remain at large. They swept through communities in southern Israel, shooting people at random and kidnapping dozens, including both soldiers and civilians.
Well, that ground attack was preceded by a battery of around 3,000 rockets. They damaged buildings and cars. At least 300 Israelis have died. 256 people in Gaza were killed by those strikes yesterday.
Well, we're joined now by the Israeli ambassador to the UK, Tzipi Hotovely, who's speaking to us from a city in central Israel. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. This is being described as Israel's 9/11, a very powerful statement, but is that how it feels?
I must say that I'm here in Israel, and I spent yesterday most of the day in a shelter after over 3,000 rockets were fired on cities in the middle of Israel. And I must say it reminded us dark ages in the Jewish history when Jews were butchered by pogroms. And the feeling was that all this time that Israel was giving credit to the Palestinians, that we were dealing with a cruel and barbaric terror organization that made a combined attack on the cities of Israel from the air, from the land, and from the sea. And we're talking about children being targeted. We're talking about women being targeted. We're talking about old people being hijacked. We're talking about families falling apart because some of the children being taken hostage by Hamas. This is the nightmare that Israelis woke up into yesterday morning. And, you know, I have a 3-year-old daughter, and she came to me while we're in a shelter, and she asked me, "Mommy, why they want to kill me?" And I think this is the big question. We're talking about a terror organization that is targeting children, that is targeting every Israeli children. We're talking about videos. I think you all were exposed to the horrific sounds of families sitting in a shelter, and they're firing, taking some of the children out and killing them brutally. And this is the situation that Israel woke up into last night. I think we spend the night watching and following the news, and I must say that I've never experienced a day like this in my life in Israel.
Tzipi, you were talking there about the taking of hostages. Certainly some of the most distressing pictures, videos which have emerged from events yesterday are involving that. We understand the hostages are still some in Gaza. How do the authorities deal with that situation?
Well, first of all, Israel is in a war. We are in a war that Hamas started yesterday, calculated, planned, targeting Israelis, targeting civilians, targeting innocent children. And this is the reality that every government that is dealing with that, I'm sure the British government would have done the same. And we saw the Prime Minister Sunak, we saw President Biden yesterday. They're supporting Israel's right for self-defense because we are in a reality that has become a nightmare. And we can't do anything else that any other government would have done. We need to protect our people. And this is why IDF must go into this war that is a necessity war. It's not like we were expecting that to happen. And today we can see that Gaza we need to make sure all the infrastructure of terrorism will be 100% destroyed. This is where the Prime Minister yesterday made a declaration that we will make sure that this barbaric evil will be destroyed.
And Tzipi, just on that subject, there's just some news coming in that from the Israeli embassy to the United States, they're talking about 100 Israeli civilians and soldiers kidnapped. That's the latest figure on that front. This news yesterday, it came out of nowhere, it would appear. Are you surprised that the Israeli Defense Force, that the intelligence services didn't appear to know that this was coming?
Well, this is a very good question, and we need to make the research about what was going on with our intelligence. But at this moment, where we wake up into a reality where over 250 Israelis were brutally murdered, and when those over 100, by the way, I can confirm that it's over 100 people taken hostage by Hamas, when some of the families are still searching for their children. I think the most devastating moment for me was when I saw this father that lost his 2 daughters. I mean, I'm a mother of 3 daughters, and I was thinking to myself, how can a father feel like that when he realized that the phone that he was ringing to his wife and to his daughters is now in Gaza, in the middle of the heart of this evil terror organization city. And this is the point that today we need to deal just with one question: how Israel can protect its people to make sure that those horrific sights we've seen yesterday will never be repeated again.
The Israeli army today is asking residents in Gaza to flee their homes in advance of the sort of their actions. Where do those people go?
Well, we are, yesterday I think it was very clear that Israel declared alert. All the people of Gaza need to know that every place that is launching terrorism will be a target for us. And we're talking about a whole day of firing rockets, of hurting innocent people. This is something that every country has the obligation to fight, and this is what we're doing.
Okay. Tzipi Hotovely, thank you so much for talking to us. At Tzipi Hotovely, the Israeli ambassador to the UK.
And it's going to be a long war, but we will win it.